Don't place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, so this is a bit of a weekly recap of what's actually happened this week. What's going on right now in the charts right now and what's been happening. And that's basically what I want to focus on right now. Some of the most important things when we're looking at the charts. So I'm going to be looking at silver. Silver's been pulling back as I expected. And gold is starting to pull back a little bit more. GDX as well too. So I'm going to talk about those things as well too. And also the stock market as well, what's happening with there. Plus also there's one stock that I like that if we do get a bit of a breakout to the upside, it's actually setting up for a potential nice bullish move. So my number one bullish stock that I actually like in the mix of a potential top in the stock market. So anyway, we'll talk about that soon. Guys, right now I'm actually running a flash sale. So if you go to johnsflashsale.com, you'll see the link in the description as well too, or it should be actually on the screen there. But I'm running a flash sale to my brand new course here. It's only for $7. I'm running a flash sale here. So if you're struggling with the trading right now and you need some help, then this $7 flash sale here is the thing that's going to help you out. Is the thing that's going to really take it next level, because I've got things like the foundations, 3 powerful chart reading techniques, two amazing trading systems, the ultimate trading system, the blast off trading system. You're gonna love those. Number one indicator, so on and so forth, right? And I'm even giving a 30-day money back guarantee as well too. So for $7, guys, you cannot go wrong, and you're gonna learn. I promise you. All right, I promise you that this video here, right? This video right here, the PT method, the charting boundaries alone, those videos there. Actually, you know what? Let me do this here. These videos here alone are worth your weight in gold. If you can just maximize, especially this one right here, if you can maximize your learnings in that, then that's what's going to help you out there. Okay, so johnsflashsale.com, go get that $7 flash sale now. So let's actually start off with the stock market, and then we'll get into silver and gold. Now, what's really going on here with the stock market? The stock market, some of the videos that I've done over the last few months have been focused so much on the short term, and even myself, I forget sometimes to keep looking at that bigger picture, what the market is still telling us right now as I speak. Now, still right now, we could be forming some sort of bit of a rounding top formation. Let me do this here, all right? It could be forming that, but we just don't know. It's still very high where we are right now. Okay, we've ran up and now we're just still very high. So there still could be, and we don't know this for sure. Okay, but there still could be the potentials or the making. You know, let me just bring this over here for a minute. I'm gonna bring this screen up here, so it's just a white screen. There still could be the makings here of a bit of a head and shoulder formation. Now that's not what's happening right now. Okay, if we see what's happening, right now on the stock market here, we can see what? We can see that we have a shoulder, a head, and this actually still could be some sort of right shoulder, okay? But that's a big what? That's a big question mark, right? That's a big question mark. We don't know. Right now, the market is still pushing high. We're definitely struggling here right now because we're definitely not breaking up. We're not breaking out. So this still could be some sort of a bit of a topping pattern. We don't know overall long term, but and again, we just don't know, right? So by looking at this here, we can see how the markets actually ran up, but we are still, if we have a look at this here, right, we are still right now, we're smack on this whole resistance and support level. You can see how this whole pretty much area through here on the Dow Jones, right? Actually, let me bring that down through here. That whole area where we are right now, in fact, if I just bring that over through to there, see how that area, this whole area here on the Dow Jones is indeed look at all that resistance there, look at all that resistance there. Resistance broke up, it found a lot of support there before it broke back down. Now we're at that level there. So really interesting stuff, guys. It could be a reversal, or we may be getting ready for another big move to the upside. Yeah, so that's basically what we're seeing there right now. But if we have a look at that weekly chart once again, and this is where that long-term weekly chart is always key to keep an eye on, and I was saying this in yesterday's video as well too, right? What is happening here right now? We have a low, we have a high, we have a higher low, higher high, and a higher low. Okay, so the buyers are still stepping up, even though we're struggling where we are right now. That could be from some sort of head and shoulder formation. So what we need here is, if we're going to start to see the bear market start, okay, if we're going to see the bear market start for a 1 to 2 year downward movement, we would want to see it fail here and then drop down. Now, if that does happen, that's the if, right? That is the big if scenario. Firstly, you guys don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, okay? I love it. I love it. Some people in the trade box, John, you said it was going to go down and didn't. It went up today. The plunge protection team came in. So that's what we're seeing there right now, okay? So it'd be really interesting if we do see that and then we get a break below that low level there. That's telling us, what is that market telling us? Now we're breaking the low and then we're likely to start seeing some damage. So it'd be really interesting to see what actually happens over the next couple of weeks. Question for you guys when it comes to the stock market. Do you guys think that it's going to stop here and roll over and start to create a lower high, breaking past previous lows? Therefore, we start a downward trend, and therefore probably likely to start to see that there. And if that happens, then we're likely to start the overall bear market. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, guys. We just right now the buyers are still in control, higher high, higher low, and we're still stepping up. But we are definitely when it's definitely not a strong bull market here. Okay, what I mean by that is that we're in some sort of a, as you can see, right, we're in some sort of a channel pattern here, like that. All right, we're in some sort of a slow upward channel pattern. So really interesting stuff there, guys, to see what's going on there. On that, and as you can see here, right, we went sideways for a while and then we broke back up, and that's what's been happening through there. Same for the S&P 500 and stuff like that as well too. Now, if I go to let me bring up the transportation average. If we look at the transportation average, what's the transportation average been doing? We can see what? We can see how the transports has been doing what? So it came up. Here's the interesting part. Remember I was saying just a minute ago about the Dow Jones, right? How when it starts to break that lower low, that's when the change in trend, or that's when the change in tune starts to happen. Look at this here. Higher low. Again, this weekly chart. Higher low, equal low. Okay, made a bit of a false breakout here. Lower low, lower high. Changed, right? Then it came down and made a lower low, made an equal high, made a higher low, and now it's made a lower high. So there's really no one in control here. It's making a higher low, lower high. But as you can see, right, the market is still, the sellers are still, they're trying to keep this lower, right? So we have this high, lower high, equal high, and now we have a lower high, right? So the sellers are starting to come in. If we can, and then the sellers might be doing that again soon. So really interesting to see if we start to get that on the Dow Jones, and that's when we can start to see, like the whole thing is, guys, is that it's not a matter of if we're going to head into a recession, if we're going to see a bear market, if we're going to see a downturn in the stock market. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, right? It's like, when is it going to start? And when's it going to start? We'll start to see things like, as I said before, right? Especially like, let me just bring up the SPY here. Same on the SPY. When will it start? We'll start to see things like what? A breaking of this low. And then once that low happens, once we start to get that, and look at this here, right? I've squeezed my chart up through here. It's just incredible. Really is. Low, higher low, and a higher low, right? We're stepping up. So if we start to break that low, again, that could be some sort of small little head and shoulder formation. And if that happens, then down through here and then down through here, we're now likely to start to see that overall movement. And that movement there, guys, that may take 3 months, that may take 6 months, it may take 12 months. We just don't know. Okay. Now, moving on to silver and gold. Now, what's been happening with silver and gold? Look at silver, right? Silver's been pulling back quite hard. Really has been pulling back quite hard. And this is the one thing, guys, that I was really explaining over the last week or so. I've been telling people not to chase the market. No FOMO, no FOMO, no FOMO. The problem is that when you get into a bull market where it's just been going up and up and up and up, you can never pick the exact high, okay? You can never pick the exact high it's going to get out, but you can start to say, you know what, this thing's overextended, and I'm expecting a pullback soon. No one knows exactly when that pullback's going to happen, but you can't say, oh, well, today's the day that we're going to get that pullback. You just don't know, right? But you say, okay, right now it's getting overextended right now. We've been gone for a big run for quite some time. Now is the time to step back and then let the market's going to do it. It may keep going up for a while, but wait for a decent pullback first. And then once we get that decent pullback first, then jump into it. Makes sense? So it's not a matter of, because some people have been saying in the comments, some people have been saying, John, you've been calling for a pullback now for a couple of days or for a week in silver and gold. I'm just like, it's not that I know exactly when that pullback's going to happen, but everything is about probability, guys, within your trading. Okay, you never know exactly where the highs, where the lows in any move is going to be. No one does. Okay, and I've been having some jokes with the people in the chat box, like, oh John, you got it wrong again. See, the stock market went up today. You said it was going to go down. I told you it was going to go up, and I said, you know what? You're so right. I got it so wrong, and you got it so right. Please start your YouTube channel so I can follow you, because obviously I have no idea what I'm talking about. The professionals in these markets, as you can tell, right? It's not knowing where the high is, where the low is, what's going to happen tomorrow, and all that sort of stuff. Okay, you got to get yourself out of that mode of thinking about that. And so what we're looking at right now is we're seeing this, right? We're seeing a silver pullback, and we're seeing the gold start to pull back as well. So what can we expect out of these metals right now moving forward? Well, firstly, once again, look how high we've now been going up. So we can still expect to see a nice, healthy pullback. In fact, guys, if you are in the metals right now, if you're in silver and gold, you would want to see a pullback. You would not want it to keep it going up. Why? Because the harder the bubble, the vertical move, the harder the crash is going to be. And it's going to snap right in front of you, right? Again, if you look right in front, if you look what actually happened with, where is that? There, right? Look what happened with silver, right? And this is a case in point what I'm saying here. It happens really, really quickly before you blink of an eye, right? Look at this here. It ran up, sideways, ran up, and then a big up bar. Guess what the up bar was? It was a sucker rally. You know, getting people long, and then wham, they knock it down. I guarantee you people are getting out now saying, oh my goodness. So that's what we're seeing there right now. So back to the metals here. Silver, again, you could expect to see some sort of a pullback coming back down towards these levels here, or even just a nice 50% retracement on silver. Once again, guys, if you are in the metals or you're interested in getting into the metals, you would actually want to see that a nice healthy pullback, and then continue in that move. Again, you don't want to see this thing keep going up and up and up and up, because that's bubble territory. That's what bubbles are on the markets. They just go vertical. Again, look at Bitcoin, look at natural gas. They went up really quickly, they go down really quickly. You don't want that, okay? You just don't want that. What do you want? You want something that's gone up for a while, and then we have a bit of profit taking, a bit of a rest, and it refuels, and then it goes for another big run. That's what a healthy bull market looks like. Look back over here, right? Look back. If I bring back, this is the silver market here. If I go back over here to 2016, look what happened here, right? It's what? Low, high, low, high, low. Nice move up, sideways. Again, this is a weekly chart, guys. It's not day by day, it's week. Move up, move down, move up, and then it started to move down through here. Okay, so that's the sort of action you want to start to see here to continue a nice big move. Now, I do believe this is the start of a big bull run, yes. Okay, and so that's why I've been saying don't chase it. If you haven't gotten into silver and gold yet and you want to get into silver and gold, then don't chase the rip. That's the worst thing you can do. The worst thing you can do is start to add as it's been going up. No, wait for a good time. Be patient, be patient, be patient, be patient. And stop listening to these guys in the chat box telling you, no, now's the time to get in. You better get in now before you miss out. No, that's FOMO. And if any of you guys have been trading for quite some time, you know what FOMO gets you? A bit of a kick in the ass. I'm saying this, guys, because I don't want you guys that are learning these markets. It's going to be a hard thing. So moving on to gold right now, again, especially gold, right? I'm expecting to see a much sharper pullback, a much more harder pullback, not a bear market, just a nice pullback, than silver. Why? Because we've actually gone up the most here. So a nice pullback here, probably to the 30 to 50% level, will be nice. Okay, just a bit of what I call a price reset, and then that may happen for a few weeks. And then we can go for another nice move to the upside. But once again, same with gold, right? I do believe gold has because of this leg up, has now started an amazing bull market for a good couple of years or more ahead. So if you guys have investing positions on, I personally believe you don't need to worry about that. Now, you got to have your own risk management in place, right? It's crazy how many people out there are waiting for someone to tell them what to do. Don't do that. Do your own analysis. Do your own analysis. Understand why you're getting into something. Okay? And it's like, don't do something because everyone else is saying it's good. All right? Don't believe anything I say. Study the market. Study the charts. Okay? Don't be a herd. Don't be a sheep. Don't follow everyone else. It's so important to do that. So that there, and same with if I go down to say the GDX as well too. There's the GDXJ and then also the GDX. Let's go to the GDX here. All right, same for the GDX as well too. Look what happened to the GDX, right? We're starting to really, again, a nice pullback is likely to happen. But again, guys, it's actually a really, really good thing because this here to me is the start of a couple of year bull run in the metals right now. And for people that are in the metals right now, you would want to see this nice pullback for it to reset, and then it's probably going to go for a run, and then it's going to probably break new highs. That is the new highs for the last couple of years at least, and then we're likely to go for another big run. Make sense? So that's what I'm seeing there on the metals, guys. But please don't chase these markets. Do not chase these markets. Be patient. Be patient. Be patient. Be patient. Stop listening to these guys in the chat box telling you better get in now because blah 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 blah. No, even if you're looking to put on an investing position. Be smart. What do the most successful investors do? They wait for a good time to get in. They don't know when is a good time to get in. When there's blood on the streets, when people don't think there's a good time to get in. Make sense? So that's what I want to say there, guys. And please don't go mortgage your house or put every single cent you have into these metals, thinking one big position is going to make you money and it's going to make you a millionaire and all that sort of stuff, because that mentality is probably going to cause you to lose money. The reason why is because you may get into a good time and then it goes for a run for a while, and then we might have a good pullback, and then you freak out like, oh, I can't lose money, it's pulling back against me. What if it just keeps going down? And then all this story, right? What if it keeps going down? What if it, and you create this story, and suddenly it may even pull back to where you originally got in. You might go for a run for 2 or 3 months and then pull back to where you got in. But because you're so fearful of losing money, you went from saying, yeah, I knew I got it right. Yeah, look at all this money I'm making. Yeah. And then it starts to pull back. This guy has no idea what he's talking about. It's going to hold it. It's going to keep going up. It's going to keep going up. And then it pulls back a little bit more. This is it's just a small little pullback. The recession is just around the corner. People are fearful. And then suddenly, what do you start to do? What do you start to do in those moments? You start to what? You start to watch YouTube videos that backs up your bias claim again, or your bias view of the market, and you start to read white papers, you start to read white research, you start to look for anything that can support your view in that position. I've been there before, right? And if anything is going to have an opposite opinion of what you are doing right now, because you're in that trade and you want it to work so well. You are going to say that was shit, that was bullshit. He has no idea what he's talking about. All right, and you're going to completely negate that story there, and then something ends up happening. It keeps pulling back, and before you know it, you went from really big in profit to small profit to now you're at break even thing, and oh shit's gonna come back, and then it may dip even below your entry, and now you're actually losing money. You're like, oh my goodness, shit, what's gonna happen? Oh, I can't believe this. I've put all this money in this house, and I've pulled my money out of my house, and I've borrowed money on a credit card because I thought this is going to make my family rich and all that sort of stuff. And I've been watching all these YouTube videos, and they said the big bull market's going to come, and which does. It happens over a couple of years. We get big runs and big pullbacks in the markets because that's how the markets work. Then just look at the chart, right? We never go straight down. Sometimes we do, but 90% of the time we go through these gyration swings, pullback, and so on and so forth, right? Again, nice markets. And then suddenly you can't lose any money, and you don't want to lose any money, and now you start, and now you're in a position where you're starting to lose money, and you start to freak out, and you're like, oh, I can't lose any more money, and now your whole position is down, say maybe 5% or 10% because you've just done that, or maybe a bit more, and you're freaking out. So, oh my goodness, I thought this was going to be a big bull market, and you start to look for more research, and you start to draw trend lines, and start to look at the 652-day moving average. You create a story, and you're like, oh my goodness, and it keeps going against you just a little bit more, and now your position's down 15%. Remember, this is an investing position, by the way. It's happening. What's going to happen over the next 3 to 5 years, and you should have had good risk management. And now you're freaking out, and then you get out, And then as soon as you get out, guess what? That's the exact low of that move. And then a month from there, we go for another big bull run. Not only does it go for a big bull run, but it surpasses the high of what you were in just a while ago. And then you're sitting there for a month or 2 or 3 months watching this thing take off thinking, mother cuffer. That's what happens in the markets. And as you can see, right, it had nothing to do with the markets and everything to do with you and your position. Please, 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 guys, this is not a sprint. This is not a sprint. Because let's just say, for example, you do that and you hock the house and whatever, mortgage, whatever, right? And then you start to then you start to get involved with those markets, right? And you do make $1 million. Let's just say that. Let's say over the next 2 years, you put all this money on this one trade and you made a lot of money. Let's say you made $1 million. Pretty cool, right? The question I got to ask you is that if you make $1 million and you get out, right? You actually net $1 million profit trade. You made $1 million in that one position that you put on. You got into it. You let the market go. You got it right. Right? There wasn't really any plan, but you just jumped on a big bull market. The question I got to ask yourself is this: how can you now replicate that for the rest of your life, so you never have to worry about money or feeding your kids ever again? Because if you do that, remember, trading is all about building and developing good habits. Trading is all about approaching the market with good habits that consistently generates profits long term, not just being lucky once. Because if your habit on the first position was to load up of a whale of a position because you thought you were going to be right in the markets, and you do get it right and you get rewarded big time, what are you naturally going to do on the next position that you think you're going to definitely get it right again? You're going to say, oh my goodness, I just took 100 grand or 200 grand and I just made $1 million from that. Oh, that's so cool. You know what? I'm going to put this $1 million. And then what do you start to do? And man, if I put $1 million on this trade, this could be a $10 million profit position. Oh my goodness. I could make $5 million. Oh my goodness. And then guess what happens? You do that. And Murphy's Law, what ends up happening with that one? You either lose all of the money on that trade, or you lose a large chunk of it. And now because you just want to get that money back, because you may have made $1 million, but the next trade you put all that on and you freaked out, you lost 50% of it. Now you still have $500,000 there, but what do you focus on? Are you focused on that you've actually made $500,000, or is your brain focused on you just lost $500,000, right? The loss effect is more powerful than the gain effect, right? The loss effect, that's the reason why, right? That's the reason why things like flash sales, right? That's the reason why, like, I know when I do these flash sales, $7 flash sale, and it's only out for a short time, what is it? Oh, if I don't get this, it's running out of time, then guess what? They focus on, I may miss out. Right? So your brain naturally now focuses on, you may have $500,000 there, but now you're bloody depressed. You're absolutely depressed because you just lost $500,000. Then what do you start to do? You start to gamble, right? You start to throw money. You either load up on one big position again, or you start to like place 100. It's just 100 grand. I've got $500,000 in the account. I could put 100 grand on this. Even if this whole thing goes belly up, that's okay. And you trade and you trade and you trade and you trade like that. And you're getting in, you're getting out. You're trading emotional. There's no plan. There's no rational plan. And guess what ends up happening? You lose all of that. And if not more, because then you start to put more money back into your account. You do the exact same thing, you mortgage your house, whatever. And then guess what happens? Because you said, you know what? I just need to find one big position. And this may have happened over a 3 or 4 year period. I just got to find one position. And then one position just like I did before. I did it before, so I can do it again. I can make it back. And then before you know it, it is all over for you. And sometimes when and then before you know it, especially when you start to trade really high risky instruments like writing options, or using like stocks on margin. Can you imagine you doing that on margin? And then suddenly what ends up happening is that the stock gaps massively against you because of an announcement comes out, or you've written an option on that one. I see so many people, and I've met so many people that write options, and for 1 or 2 years, they can make a fortune in a big bull market. As soon as the market starts to turn against them, 3-4 months later, they're completely wiped out. The purpose of me saying this, guys, is that it's trading the long term in these markets has never been, and it's not that the markets are rigged, it's not that the markets are manipulated. No, that is total bullshit bollocks and an absolute crap of an excuse on your behalf if you are saying that, because you don't know how to trade these markets and you think you need to know what's going to happen tomorrow. Well, this candle's doing this today, so I'm going to do this tomorrow. And you think you got to trade every single day. You got to know what's happened tomorrow to make money out of the markets. That's not how trading successfully is done. Trading successfully, and guys, I have met and I've been very close to 2 different 7-figure traders. And do you know what I really learned from them? Was that it's not that they're lucky. No, it's not that the market's rigged. No. Right? Like, I am being very fortunate right now to be coached by a really, really successful trader. Right? A really successful trader. Like, we're not just talking about 7 figures here. We're not talking about like he makes $1 million a year. No, we're probably talking about probably 8 to 10 million, probably more. Right? In making money from these markets. So guys, when I'm coming to you from the knowledge of coaches who I reach out to, because I'm like, if I want to take my trade, you know what I mean? If I want to take my trading to a whole complete new level, then I need to go to the people who are doing it. And do you know what he does? He has a simple pattern wrapped up with a few simple rules, and then he just waits for that. And he trades the market intraday basis. Whether it's or he trades a daily chart, or whether he trades, and then he trades a lot of the 2-minute charts to 5-minute charts across the US indices and some of the commodities. And all he does, he just sits there and just waits for his pattern. And some weeks are really, really busy, and some weeks are not. Like, I'll give you an example of the thought of what it really takes to get in the markets. I've seen my trading this year, and do you know actually, no, not my trading, my mentor's trading. He was saying just recently that he's had so many more trades this last 2 months, and he's made more money in the last 2 months than he did in the first 6 months of this year. Was it because he traded crap? No, there was lesser trades in the first 6 months of this year. And then suddenly 2 months this year, he made more money. That's how trading the markets for income works. It's never about how much money can I make today. It's never about, because when you start to focus on, I want to make money today, you're completely going against the things that I'm talking about this video, which is focus on developing good habits. And those good habits come from the understandings of what are you looking for on the chart first. And then you find that it's basically called a pattern on the market, right? It's a pattern on the charts. And find some pattern that you believe in and just trade that. So your last 10 trades, your last 20 trades should look almost identical to each other. So if I show you all my trades that I've taken this year, no, probably about 98% of them. A few trades I've taken based on some other things, but you'll see that they all meet a certain criteria. They all look pretty much the same. They all have the foundational image, right? So if I showed you a trade today, and then I showed you my last 20 trades, they look almost identical. Whether it was a daily stock chart, or a 15-minute stock chart, or a 2-minute Forex chart, or a 15-minute futures chart. It's the exact same pattern. And it doesn't change. It never changes. And so guys, you have two choices and 2 decisions in your trading career. You can stop bullshitting yourself and stop blaming everyone else for things that may not be working out well for you. No, firstly, you can keep doing that and then actually not move forward, and you won't do well because you're not learning the lessons. Or secondly, you can say, you know what? This is how it's done. This is the foundational rules. The foundational rules is that every single major successful trader, they all have one thing in common. They know exactly what they're looking for on the chart, and they only trade that. That's it. And sometimes they got to sit there through a whole week of market moving up, market moving down, market moving sideways, a big move up, a big move down, and them not trade. Because guess what? Their plan said to not trade. So going back to what I was saying before about if you make $1 million on one trade and be lucky, who gives a shit? Because you're probably going to lose that a lot more. Build that foundational basis. And what is that? Stop focusing on so much on being lucky in the markets and start focusing on developing good habits. Because, guys, it's never the market that gets you. It's not the market's rigged. Bullshit. Right? People have been saying that for gold and silver for so many years. What are they saying now? Is it still rigged? Oh, are they still suppressing gold and silver right now? Oh, they're still suppressing gold and silver. They're still suppressing it. They're suppressing it. They're rigging the market. They're keeping it down. Absolutely total bollocks and bullshit. Oh, but John, it's true. What, suddenly, are you saying suddenly for the last 3-4 months, they stopped suppressing it for some reason? They just, you know what? This is the thing about this. We've actually suppressed it for quite some time. You know what? Let's not suppress it anymore. We're just going to stop doing it. Really? How crazy does that sound? It's like, even if that may be true to a certain extent, guys, this is $1 trillion market. Not one entity or industry can hold this market down. And the reason why I say that is because if you go back and look at, I think it was the 1929, right? So guys talk about the plunge protection team in these markets, right? Go back and look at the 1929, and actually I learned this from Ray Dalio. So the government does step in sometimes when the market is falling quite hard, not just one or two down days, but when the market's falling quite hard, they will step in, and they will step in and they'll try to support it, right? So they'll try to buy it up. Not after one day, by the way. It's after consecutive downfalls. So yes, the government will come in and try to support it, right? They'll come and try and find a flaw in the markets. All right, they're going to try and do that, and then yes, then they may call on institutions such as banks to start to buy up, these stocks here. They may do that, but guess what ended up happening in the 1929, and that's what actually created the stair-stepping effect, right? So let's actually do this here. So what would happen is that we'd have a big strong sell-off like this. The government would come in here. And they'd buy it up. They'd fly on a fall and it'd start to rally back up. Now, if we're just looking at this simple terms, who's in control here? High, we have a low. Let's just say the market did this. Low, lower, high. The market came down, sold off very strongly. The government came in, tried to support it, came up, and then suddenly something pinned the market and then came down again. It's like, oh my goodness, crap, and then it broke down, lower, high. Crap, and then suddenly like, oh my goodness, and then suddenly the market starts to sell, and guess what? It's not just the banks coming in now. We got literally hundreds of thousands of people selling off these stocks that are rapid rate. Sell, magical, and things are going, sell, just get me out. And it doesn't matter what the government did at that time to support it. They supported it, and it's like, oh, okay, we can come down now. And bam, guess what happens? And they knock it back down again. And then so they call in the banks over here, right? They call in the banks to hold it, and then the banks find a flaw in the selling, and then a flaw here, and they do that, and then suddenly, bam, the market comes back down again. So yes, the government will come in and try to find a bit of a flaw in the markets. They will, right? But in a start of a bear market, yes, they might find a bit of a flaw every now and then, but the overall market is doing simply what? High, lower high. And when they try to find a flaw is when they're trying to find here, who cares the reason why this happens? All you have to do is they're saying, you know what, let's look at the market through here. And the system that you trade, right? Call it the pattern that you trade with some rules, is only about probably 5% of your success. The number one biggest reason why you are not doing well, and this is blatantly it, is because you spend all your time trying to find that next big thing. Instead of saying, you know what, here is my plan, and I'm only going to trade that plan only. That's it. I'm not going to trade anything else. And I'm going to be consistent here. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to be patient. This is the reason why people have a hard time trading. Especially the last one, patience. Because we don't have patience to this day. We want the quick fix. We want the quick download app, right? We want everything instant. We don't want to have to sit there and maybe research 2 or 3 or 4 hours every day for maybe 2 or 3 weeks to find one trade that meets this plan. Oh, that does really well for you. Oh, you got so lucky on that trade, John. I'll tell you, that was just lucky. Yeah. What about you do the 1 or 2 hours of research every day, doing your consistency, showing up, scanning the markets, looking for the opportunities. Nothing today. Come back tomorrow. Scanning the market, looking for opportunities. Come back tomorrow. Scanning the market, look for opportunities. Come back tomorrow. Scanning the market, look for opportunities. Come back tomorrow. Scanning the market. Oh, bam! This is what I was looking for. Huh. I just made 200% return on option on this trade in about 2 weeks. Fantastic. Oh, you got so lucky, John. No. Okay, so for the 5% out there, for the 5% of you guys that are watching this, I hope you can see that this is not me just talking a whole bunch of bollocks here. This is what it takes. If you want to consistently do well out of the markets, you need to consistently trade the markets properly. And that is because every single system you have out there has a win-loss ratio, right? Every single system you have out there has a win-loss ratio. And throw everything out there. Throw everything out of your mind that you think that the market's against you, that everything's against you, all this sort of crap, because it's not. It's just you don't understand the markets. I've talked about that about this. And secondly, you are just not following one plan with good risk management because you're loading up on one big position, and then it's all over from there. So I hope this helps you out today, guys. Have an amazing weekend. I'll see you guys next week.